So this is a seemingly simple idea. We all know the play on the words Ezer Kenegdoi. There's two ways to look at that, right? If the Chassan and the Kala are zeichet to be on the same page, she'll be an Ezer, parallel to him, next to him. But if Chas v'Shalom it's not the case, then sometimes we can find that they are Kenegdoi. So I'm not going to focus on that part. We've all heard that many times at, Sheva Brochos. I want to focus on the first part of the pasuk. It says, "Lo tov heyas adam levadai." It's not good for man to be alone. That leads really to the question. It seems like obvious. Okay, it's not good for a person to be alone, but really, why isn't it good for a person to be alone? What is Hashem trying to say? What was He concerned about? The simple pshat is that Hashem wanted to give somebody to help each other out. People should help each other out. Hashem created a woman to help out her husband. While this is true, it could lead one to the selfish conclusion that she is there to serve her husband. And therefore, a man could say, okay, Hashem didn't want me to be alone. He gave me a nice helper. So I must be a pretty important guy. That could lead to a selfish conclusion. So Rav Yosef ben Amram in the Alei Be'er has a slightly different pshat on why Hashem doesn't want people to be alone. The first has to do really with the mitzvahs ben Adam l'makom. If all man were to see was himself, and he wouldn't have anybody around him, he wouldn't have his wife, he wouldn't have other people to help him out, he would become very self-absorbed, and he would forget. That would lead to gaiva, haughtiness, and he would forget that he's really there to serve Hashem. There's a higher purpose than himself. So it was necessary in order to preserve spirituality that Hashem create man with somebody next to him, so a person always realizes he's not alone. It's not only about you, it's about others, and that leads a person to think, wait, if it's not only about me, it's about others, there must be a purpose here, I can't be too self-centered, I have to, oh, that's right, I'm here to serve Hashem. So, kind of looking at each other, we kind of reach a conclusion of bin adam l'makom, that's really what it's all about. And the second similar idea is if man were only to see himself and didn't have somebody else next to him, so there would be no opportunity for him to do kindness and chesed, and therefore he would be lacking in the mitzvahs ben adam l'makom. So it's not only about mitzvahs ben adam l'chaverot, mitzvahs ben adam l'makom. When I saw this pshat, it reminded me of the famous story of the guy who approached Hillel and asked him, "Rebbe, teach me Torah al regel achas." And the answer that was given is "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." Not exactly those words, but that was the idea. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. That's the mitzvah that's representative of the entire Torah. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And the famous question that's sometimes asked is, wait a minute, that only represents the mitzvahs ben adam l'chavera. What about the mitzvahs ben adam l'makom? How is v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha representative of the other half of the Torah, of the other half of the luchos, of ben adam l'makom? And the answer is that these two are intertwined. They're connected. They're inherently connected. That ben adam l'chavera brings a person to ben adam l'makom, and a person really can't succeed in one without the other. And so I guess that's the bracha that I'd like to give on behalf of everybody here to the Chassan Kala, to Chayla, to Aaron, is that obviously you should be an Ezer Kenegdoi in the positive sense. You should help each other out, but also it should serve you to, may you be zeicher to build a bayis and Yisrael that where you're constantly improving on your mitzvahs ben adam l'makom, you're constantly improving on your mitzvahs ben adam l'chavera, you provide chesed for each other, and you grow in your yiras shamayim. One last point, I just realized another reason why I probably should have spoken tonight is hakaras hatoiv. First of all, I have hakaras hatoiv, all kidding aside, to Aunt Yafa and Uncle Nassan, who are you're the fortunate grandchildren of some of the most amazing people that I've ever met. That's another thing. I also have tremendous hakaras to Daniel, who's equally amazing in many ways. both as a mentor, both as an accountant, both as an employer, and even as the formulator of the Shita Pita. And finally, I'd also have even to the Kala, the Chayla, for keeping it quiet when I taught you, and you didn't tell everybody in the class that I was related to Daniel and I was related to you, and that preserved the sense of professionalism that we try to incorporate at Kodesh. Mazel tov.
I'll introduce my next speaker, Yossi, Daniel's brother, but let me just make a disclaimer that the views expressed in this speech do not express the views of everybody else making the Sheva Brochos. Totally on Yossi's side.